Well. Hello, everyone. We are here again on a Friday night, and it's time to do another video. So, everybody got their glasses? I got mine. Everybody got their glasses? Solar eclipse? Solar eclipse coming. Do you got your glasses? It's funny, on the back here, it actually has a warning. If you read them, it says, do not use to look at the sun. Interesting? Yeah. Okay. It's going to be cool. One thing I want to warn everybody in South Carolina and really all over is during the solar eclipse, be careful watch out for Bigfoot and watch out for the lizard men. In South Carolina, they're actually warning the residents to watch out for the lizard man when the eclipse happens. So I guess I got to warn everybody. Watch out for Bigfoot. Lizard man, chupacabra. Watch out for chupacabra. He comes out there when the sun goes down. But yeah, hey, do me a favor. Share this video right now. Share it like I did. Take out your phone. And share it like I am right now. All right. I shared it again. So yeah. Okay, today let's talk about death. Okay. And the reason I bring this topic up is I was at a store and a lady was mentioning about how it was an anniversary of her son passing. So I thought, okay, what a good topic to talk about is death. Okay. And a couple of days ago was an anniversary of someone else that passed away that I know. So it kind of all ties in. But anyhow, I always say they're not gone. They're just not here. And in some cases, like if you listened to our show a couple weeks ago when I interviewed my best friend Dana, it's not only that they're gone. Sometimes they come back and visit you when you don't even realize they're going to visit you. She's told a great story about her mom's boyfriend that came back and visited her after he passed. So get up there. It's called Ghostly Encounters. It's my interview with my best friend Dana. It was an amazing video. It was awesome. It was so much fun to finally, for both of us to get a chance to actually sit down and talk without all the band stuff and my stuff and the show stuff and, the pharmacogenetic stuff or getting out on the boat. Last year was the summer of fun. This year's the year of profit. But I think it was this year's turned out to be the summer of fun just as much as the other. We're getting out on the lake, soaking up the sun, even though we're going to soak up the sun with our glasses. Huh? So, anyways, I always say that they're not gone. They're just not here. And what I mean by that is you're going to see them again. We're all going to see our loved ones again when we pass. And I believe that. With all the people I've talked to about near-death experiences and deathbed visitations and stuff, I believe there's something on the other side there that we're going to end up at. I've seen some weird stuff. Okay. When I started getting into this ghost hunting stuff, I was more into the UFO stuff. And I still am amazed that you could take a piece of equipment, just a meter that registers the magnetic force in the air, say stuff, and that meter will answer questions. Or using the obelisk and getting responses. Like we were in Tony Paco's or when we were in New York at the Shanley, we were getting some awesome responses with the obelisk. Another, tool that we use is the SB7 Spirit Box. We get EVPs. We get on our recordings, just blows you away that there's got to be something after death. You know, when a person dies, their heart stops, but the cells don't die instantly. You know, without oxygen, the cells start to die after 2 to 3 minutes, but brain cells live for 7 to 10 minutes without oxygen. So your brain is still working after you die for like 7 to 10 minutes. So a lot of these near-death experiences, you know, I'm setting up an interview with someone that a lot of you guys will know, music legend, you know, a Motor City music legend. But he was talking to me one time and he told me about his near-death experience, and it was awesome. And I was just shocked that I never even realized that this person had one or even was into that stuff. But he actually died twice, and his experience to him lasted, I think he said 20 minutes each time, but his wife said that he was only out for a few seconds. So really interesting. We're working on our scheduling to get him in and have him talk to us. So we'll have a whole show about his near-death experience. But there's also a thing called deathbed visitations. Okay. And what this is like in hospice. Okay. The nurses always say that the patients, they know when the patients are going to go because they get visitations from their loved ones that they passed. There was one case, and I've heard this in another case too, but I can't remember what the whole deal was. But the patient was laying there in her bed in hospice. Okay. And they're like on the first floor of a 3-story building or whatever. And she kept saying, the sky looks so beautiful today. Doesn't the sky look so beautiful today? So she's laying in bed looking up and she sees the sky. Okay. There was another one where a little boy kept asking the nurse if he could, or if the nurse could get the other kids in the room to be quiet because he wants to lay down and wants to sleep, but the other kids keep waking him up. And the nurse is like, okay, I'll tell them, you know, that they need to be quiet, but they were the only two in the room. I mean, so the boy was seeing other kids in the room. And I was just talking to somebody a couple of days ago that his father's in a nursing home. And I asked him, I'm like, is he seeing relatives yet? And he's like, yeah, he keeps saying that his friends from grade school and his relatives are visiting him. And I'm like, oh, okay. All right. And I said, has he mentioned that he has to pack his bags or get ready for a trip? And he's like, wait a minute, how do you know that? I'm like, just thinking. And he's like, yeah, he keeps talking about how he's got to get the ticket ready for the train. I'm like, okay, well, you know, just kind of warning you to kind of get prepared for the next few days. And I haven't heard from him, so I don't know what came of that. But, you know, this stuff is real. Deathbed visitations, people that are getting visitations from their relatives that passed. I have dreams about Jackie all the time. You know, Jackie's passed, it's coming up on 4 or 5 years now. I think I should know that, but I kind of don't think about it that way. I mean, she's still around. I talk to her in my dreams, you know, and a lot of people say, oh, yeah, you talk to her. But it happens. I just had one a couple of days ago of her, and I walked into a room and her dad was sitting in a chair and her sister was there. And of course, then the DJs from X94 or whatever the radio station had on, all of a sudden they were in the dream too because the radio turned on and they were talking. So, but yeah, I mean, this stuff, I always say there's 3 types of death. Okay. It's the physical death when the person dies. The second death is when you put that person in the ground, you know, in the grave. And the third death is the last time somebody speaks your name. And with these visitations and that, after death, I guess you call them visitations, it kind of keeps that person in your mind and keeps you saying their name, so they never really die. And that's one of the bad things I think about when I go to the cemeteries and clean off the gravestones. A lot of you guys don't know that I do that. I go and I clean off gravestones because it drives me nuts to go into a cemetery and see the grass growing over. And I was just at one a couple of days ago doing my relatives, and I looked next to them, and there's a gravestone that is completely covered, and all you can see is this tiny little patch. I'm like, oh, I'm here. I gotta cut, clean it out, And it was, I don't know if they were with the Civil War or whatever, but it was that kind of stone where it was green. It was actually brass, but it turned green. But it had a really cool design on it. It had flowers and stuff. So I cut that one out. I should say cut the grass out around it. I don't cut the stones out, but I cut the grass out around and cleaned them off and got my brush out and swept them off and stuff. And then the one next to it was his wife. And it was the same kind of stone. And it was just really cool it's almost like you're digging into the ground and finding these things, and you're bringing that name back to life. So, I mean, by me doing it, am I bringing them from the dead? Because my saying of the last time or their last death is when last time somebody says their name. So I don't know. It's just something I do. All right. It's funny because I have wrote down here the near death in India. There's a big difference between near death experiences here in the United States and in Britain and stuff than in India. India is kind of funny. We hear stories of people that have near death experiences in India. Okay. The one is the guy passed, and next thing he knows, he is being led down a hallway to this like nightclub. Okay. And this is how he described it. He's like, it's a nightclub. There was a line of people outside, and there was like a bouncer at the door with a clipboard. Okay. And he's sitting there, and these people that walked him to it were really rough, and they're like, stand here. And he's like, okay, and so he stands there, and he says, in his near-death experience was a good 20 to 30 minutes. And he stood there, and then the line moves, the line moves. He gets up to the front, and the guy's like, what's your name? And he says his name. He's like, you're not on the list. And he kicks him. And he like turns him and kicks him. And literally, I mean, this is what this guy was saying, is down these stairs. And when the doctors revived him in the hospital, he just kept going, my back hurts. Oh, my back hurts. And the doctors are thinking, well, wait a minute. How could his back hurt when he died of this? I don't know exactly what he died of, but it wasn't anything trauma or nothing. But he was saying that his back hurt. And he's like, those guys kicked me down the stairs. So it's a little different near-death experiences in India than it's kind of like, remember the movie Beetlejuice? In there, they go into the waiting room, and they're all sitting there, and like one guy's like, Coach, are we dead? It's like that in India. There's so many funny stories. And I was doing my notes, and when we do the near-death experience show, I'm going to do the funny stories in there also, because there's so many of them. You think of a near-death experience as being, oh, it's so happy and lovely, and and it's cool though. In Western culture, near-death experiences, people talk about how the colors, the sounds, the light, everything is so much more vibrant that they can't even put it in human words, which is kind of interesting. I mean, I've heard of the ones where people say they went to hell. I just read a story today. A lady claimed that she died and went to hell, and she actually saw Michael Jackson in hell, which we know it can't be true because he's not really dead. I mean, look at the videos on YouTube. People see him all the time. So, but yeah, near-death experiences is a wild topic and very interesting. Very interesting. I remember the other story about a lady that was cleaning her house, and this like window, stained glass window that she had up on her mantle of her fireplace actually fell and knocked her out. Okay. And she had a near death experience. And she actually said that she saw Jesus and she talked to Jesus. And, the same scenario. It's not your time. You got to go back. And she says, I didn't want to go back. But she said that she went back. And to her near death experience lasted like 5 minutes. Okay. She woke up on the floor of her living room, head busted open, but the blood was all dried in her hair. So in order for that to happen, she had to be laying there for a long time. And she died, but she came back. And who knows how long she was laying. I mean, if there's any nurses out there, put in the comments, how long does it take for your blood to dry up like that in your hair? She had to have been laying there for an hour. But yeah, just wild stuff. And let's see what else I have wrote down here. Really not much more about death, but I just wanted to talk a little bit about death because I had some people stop me, and I'm always getting people stop me, asking me about near-death experiences. So like I say, I'm going to get my friend in. You guys will, a lot of you guys will recognize him. He's a Motor City legend. And we're just going to sit him down. He was telling me that his story is not that exciting. I'm like, dude, you had a near-death experience. Okay, and you had witnesses to collaborate what happened. And in his story, though, it was really interesting because it was like a lot of the other ones, but yet it wasn't like a lot of the other ones because he didn't have the visitations. He just basically stood there, he said. And I'm not going to tell you much about it because I want him to tell you. But it was just so interesting. And, just stuff to make you think. But anyhow, I want to thank Harold and Butch from the Toledo, Ohio Ghost Hunter Society. They stopped in the studio, and that show will come out tomorrow on Sunday because it is actually Saturday. It's 12:19 in the morning, folks. Why are we all up? But they came in the studio and told us some great stories. And I edited the show. It took me a while to edit the show because I wanted it perfect. And hopefully it is perfect. But one thing I do have to warn you guys when you're listening to it, if you got headphones on, I kind of messed with the volume and it didn't turn out the best. So there's a few parts of it, like when we play the EVPs at the end of the show, which are amazing, the volume kind of jumps up. So be warned. So, but yeah, that's another thing. When those guys were telling us the stories about their EVPs that they captured and we played it for them, I'm listening to it for the first time, just like you guys will be. And I'm like, yeah, I heard that. That was definitely a Class A EVP. And I also got some video. And they mentioned about it when they talked to us about this video where after they do an investigation, okay, what happens is everybody gets together in a room and kind of like debriefs. While they were doing that, the cameraman was just like panning around the room, okay? And he kind of stopped, and all of a sudden you see this black mass poke in, look in the camera, and then poke out real quick. That was kind of cool. I mean, I know these guys, and I know the equipment they use, and the camera that they use to do their shows and do their investigations, I should say, they record their investigations. In order for that to happen, that guy would have had to come way up, turn the camera like this, and then way back. And if he did that, you'd see the camera move a lot. Now, the camera does move a little bit, but it's cool. And somehow, I'm going to show you guys that video. I'm going to get their permission. Maybe I'll change it to a YouTube video or something, and I'll put it on the website for you guys. But definitely check out the show this week. Like I said, it's Harold and Butch stopped in from the Toledo, Ohio Ghost Hunter Society. They did an amazing job. Great stories. I also Harold talked about his class that he's got coming up. If you guys live in the Toledo area, check out Owens Technical College. They're offering Ghost Hunting 101 and Ghost Hunting 102. This is the third time that Harold has put it on. And I sat in for one of them because I can't go during his classes because it's on a Thursday night. And everybody knows I work second shift. I can't. This stinks. I know. Send me the winning lotto numbers so I can win the lottery and I don't have to work. Well, I'll still work, but I won't have to work at night. All right. So anyways, that's the show for this week. It's going a little longer than I hoped. It's over 20 minutes now, and I'm trying to keep these around 15 minutes. But yeah. So thanks for tuning in. One other thing, we're going to be doing a call-in show, and it's kind of different because I can't figure this I can't figure this Skype thing out. I got everything worked out, but for some reason, whoever's on the other line can't hear me talk. It's super quiet. So I got to figure it out. James from Dead in 5, he's going to help me out with he's got a headphone amplifier he's going to try hooking up, but I'm going to see if that works. But we're going to do a show where you guys call in, leave a message on this phone number. It's a Google phone number. I'm not going to answer it. It's just a recorder. But it's 740-0225. Okay. It's a Google phone number. It's a recording. Just leave a question. And what we'll do is we'll play your question on the air and answer it. And if I don't know the answer to it, I'm definitely going to get a hold of somebody and let them answer it or whatever. But it's going to be a fun show. It's going to be in a few weeks. We're trying to get it enough questions that it'll last an hour. And just call in, ask any kind of question, whatever. Okay. And if you don't want your recording put on the air, just say, hey, don't put me on the air. Just ask a question. But the phone number again, I got to wrote down here. It's 740-720-0225. Call up, leave me a question, and I'll answer that question on the air. It's going to be a show in a few weeks. We're working on it. But other than that, not much going on. We're going to Paranormal Toledo is coming in. That's a huge show at the very haunted Collingwood Arts Center. That's here in Toledo, Ohio. If you're anywhere within a 3-hour drive of Toledo, come to this show. It's Paranormal Toledo. It's going to be in September. Look on our website for the exact date. And then after that, in October, we're going to be at Glass City Paracon at Owens Technical College. That's going to be pretty big. We're looking forward to that. And, well, we're looking forward to Paranormal Toledo, too, because that was our first live show that we did. And this year, and I kept saying no, but they want us to do a speech. I don't know what I'm going to talk about. This is why I do these live videos at 12:30 at night, because I only get a few people to watch, and it's good practice for me. But anyhow, thanks for tuning in. Check us out, 222 Paranormal Podcast, wherever you get your podcasts from. The show this weekend is going to be awesome. Listen to the show with my best friend Dana. It's called Ghostly Encounters. That'll blow you away. You'll be like, dude, this is amazing. But anyhow, hope you guys enjoy the solar eclipse. Hopefully it's not cloudy. Get your glasses. Look with your glasses. Don't look with your eyes. And, if you do melt your eyeballs, there's a warning on the back here. Remember, it says, do not use these to look at the sun. They're sunglasses. But anyhow. All right. Well, thanks a lot for tuning in this week. Next week, I'll have a better show. It'll be more exciting. Okay, I hope. Anyways, but anyhow, thanks for tuning in, and I will see you later.